Hello and happy Tuesday. Glad everybody's joining me on my new time, just trying something new out. My name is Kiana Brathwaite. I am the CEO and founder of KB Calls, and we provide services to individuals, families, and business owners, saving you time and frustration when interacting with the healthcare system and using your health benefits. If you have any questions or want to learn more about what it is we do, definitely click that link in the bio. I just want to say, as far as housekeeping rules, enjoy, learn, ask questions, and definitely engage. All right, that's what I'm here for. So today's topic is a really big topic. I wanted to tackle uncertainty in the healthcare environment for business owners, employers, and self-employed individuals. And this may have to be a two-parter because I kind of went down the rabbit hole and started with reading the ACA law. And yeah, that was a lot. But I really enjoyed it. It was awesome. For me, anyway, I love that kind of stuff. And you can read the law verbatim to see what provisions it makes, who it's speaking to, all that good stuff. It's a whole bunch of stuff. So, quick story about being in the business space and dealing with healthcare, right? Because as business owners, our health is definitely a priority. As you know, family members, we need to make sure that we're healthy to be able to do the things that we do. And I just had somebody email me from an article that I recently published that gave me insight about what they called the airplane model, right? So we have a tendency of constantly putting out fires for other people, for our businesses, and all that good stuff, but we do not put out fires or make sure that we are making ourselves and our health a priority. So the story is, when I have worked with clients, some of them are employees, a good bit of them are business owners and employers, and health insurance is a really, really big concern, right? Because you want to be covered if something happens. You want to be prepared if something happens, but you don't want to overspend or underspend based upon what your situation is. So there's so many different layers and levels, so many different concerns that people have. And I just wanted to kind of talk about some of the things that I noticed when I was preparing for this segment. One of them is, while researching, as I said, I went through the ACA. I didn't get through it completely, but it's definitely a good read for me. But as from an employer standpoint, there are so many issues. So employers want more variety in the healthcare exchange to be able to have their employees have other options other than just their actual benefits, right? Depending on your size and what your employees' needs are, it can be really hard to deal with that cookie cutter situation, right? So some employers can only have 1 to 3 plan options. Other employers are large enough, corporations and stuff, where they can offer multiple plans because they have a wider group of people who they're covering, right? So the variety in the healthcare plans, both period through insurance companies and through the healthcare exchange, self-employed individuals, a lot of questions I've had about the the tax income credit eligibility, right? So depending on where you fall on the federal poverty line, right? And there's a form out there, if you just Google it, there's the most up-to-date one is from 2018. There's a little bit of information about if you're at 100% of the federal poverty line as opposed to 400%, then once you hit that 400% of the poverty line for how many people that you're covering, you don't necessarily qualify for the income tax credit to help you reduce your premium cost. But, definitely can have a conversation with that. I'm very familiar with what that looks like and some of the questions that business owners have for covering themselves and then their employees. They just want to know where they fall. And then for business owners, there's this new thing where to maintain and to attract new talent, they've had an issue with, hey, envy my eyewear, excuse me. They've had an issue with providing benefits. So before, the unemployment rates went down and you just had this big pool of talent that you could pull from, and your benefits were how you attracted and kept your great talent. Now, the premiums, the cost of healthcare, as I said before, your coverages are about, on average for each individual, you're spending about $10,000 a year, which breaks down to about $800 a month on healthcare expenditures, right? So business owners and employers are looking for ways to kind of offset those costs. And one way that they've looked at doing and thinking about doing is the high deductible plans, which, you know, from an end user standpoint can be really frustrating trying to figure that out if you're coming from having benefits that worked another way. That can be really hard. So maintaining and attracting quality talent, and some of the major players in the some of the major players in this arena that are pulling us in different ways are the insurance companies, the health systems. You have the providers or practitioners, right? Because they're all trying to vie for their piece of the pie. And the employers, the business owners, the self-employed, and the individuals are the ones who are left holding, carrying this premium weight on their shoulders. One of the stats I came across was in 2017-18, they said that insurance premiums are increasing 5 to 10%. It depends on where you are. If you're in the States, that's a big chunk of your business expenses, right? Now, the options that you have out there are, if you're employed, great, employer-based insurance, the healthcare exchange. You have short-term insurance policies. I'm gonna say boo, and then group and association plans. They tried those in the 80s and the 90s. They didn't really work out, but they're trying to bring those back as an option. And some people just opt to not have coverage, right? They want to take those monies and do different things with them and hopefully save them, so if something does happen, they can kind of weather that storm. So it just really depends on where you are, what your status is, right? So as a self-employed individual or contractor, I would always recommend looking at the healthcare exchange as well as what some of the other insurance companies offer when you either have a life event change, you lost insurance, you have a job change or something along those lines, or you get divorced or have children, or if once open enrollment hits, usually around November 1st, then you can start to kind of shop around. The association plans, I know they seem really, really, it's like I'm in a group that would give me a great option. Maybe my costs would be lower, but they don't cover doctor's visits, preventative care, hospitalization. A lot of times that's just reimbursement for a certain amount of money per day. And then that short-term policies, they actually, with those short-term policies, you go through a similar process as you do with life insurance where they underwrite you. And because they're short-term, when they come around to that term, then they're underwriting you again. And if something happens, they can drop you. So there's just way too much uncertainty with that. So there are a lot of options out there as a business owner, as an employer. It's really just, my suggestion would be make sure you know what your needs are, right? Know what your budget is. And then once you know what your needs are, your budget is, know what your expectations are, how you think you're going to use the plan, and then start looking at options. And then that way you're kind of narrowing the scope of what you have to deal with and what your options are. So you're not dealing with decision paralysis. So that I'm going to open it up, see if anybody has any questions or, any comments that they want to make, because I have a couple visitors. You guys have any questions? Any comments? Yes? No? Okay, because I know I'm always talking to you guys about healthcare and doing what you're supposed to do and your health being a priority. So you may just be used to me standing on my soapbox. So that's pretty much it. You know, this is a very uncertain time. Healthcare reform, Congress is trying to balance the scales between all those major players that I mentioned. The insurance companies and the health systems are definitely really the ones that are out here winning. So you as a consumer, whether you're a consumer as a business owner, as a self-employed individual, or as an employer, you as the consumer have the power in the sense of, what do I need? Oh, awesome. I'm glad to hear that, MV. What do I need? And, you know, what is best for me? And then, you know, always Google is a great thing, but there are definitely resources out there. KB Calls is one of them for you, that if you're an employer or a business owner, you have questions about what would be best, just trying to figure something out. Make sure you do a consultation, give me a call, drop me an email. And speaking of emails, if you have any questions that you want to take offline, something pops in your head after you watch the video or you think about something, go ahead and email me at info@kbcalls.com. That's info@kbcals.com. And join me next week. I'll be talking about wayfinding in the healthcare system next Tuesday, June 11th. At the same time, 7 p.m. So I look forward to seeing you guys. I hope you enjoyed the video and got a lot of information. And please, please, please do not hesitate to reach out and ask me questions. All right? Take care. See you next week.